my name is Shavana. For those of you whom this may be your first time on my channel, welcome. A little bit about me: I'm a non-traditional medical student. I'm in my first year attending University of Medicine, Health Sciences in St. Kitts. So today's topic is, what should I expect in my first year of medical school? What should I, or how should I prepare if I desire to be in medical school? And just in general, if I'm thinking about starting school, period. Tune in. So I want to start with, if you are in medical school, you have received, well, not in medical school, if you have received your acceptance letter, congratulations. And for those who are preparing to go and you're thinking, well, what should I do? Just relax, be grateful for where you are, but do what it takes to obtain your spot in medical school. For those who were recently accepted, you may be saying, what should I expect? I would say brace yourself and don't come in with too many high expectations, like I'm going to be doing this, and I'm going to be like this, and this is how I'm going to live my life. Just come in knowing, like, I'm in medical school and I'm going to adjust in whatever way possible to be all that I can be in medical school. Disclaimer, this video is basically to give advice, on how to be in medical school. But what I want to say is, I'm not saying don't strive to do well in medical school. I'm not saying don't go to medical school. I'm not saying don't pursue your dreams, because everything has its pros and its cons. The thing is, are you willing to do what it takes? You can choose any career and you still have to work at it. It doesn't matter. You can be a business owner. You can be an entrepreneur, which is basically the same thing as a business owner. Whatever it is, you're still going to have to work at it. It's not just going to happen. This is preparation. Medical school is preparation. Having a business is preparation. It might take more time having a business than working the job. So anything you're doing, it takes sacrifice and dedication. That's it. But what I want to say is, this video is strictly some advice on what helped me to stay in my right mind while going through my semester, and how I got through in my first semester of medical school. So I am actually in the attending a Caribbean school. So our semesters are broken up into, so we have 4-month semesters. And so we basically take a 2-week break every 4 months. So with that being said, I mentioned earlier that I am a non-traditional student. So I didn't come straight out of undergrad and then now I'm here. I actually went on, I started teaching. I did a lot of things, which I will mention in the other video. So in another video, but it was hard for me to adjust because I had to get back in the mode of studying. Not only that, medicine was not like, it was my first thing. It's something that I wanted to do, but then it was a backup plan because I chose to go to school to do athletic training. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to be in school all the time, so I'm choosing something else. I'm choosing athletic training. And I never even got certified in athletic training, which is so funny. I never got certified in what I went to school for because I didn't want to do it. So after I went through everything, I was like, wait, we don't even make any money. I see everybody's lifestyle. They're living with other people. This isn't for me. But I just didn't want to do that. That's not where God was calling me to. So medicine was a backup plan in that season. But as the years went by, it became the ultimate plan. And that's what God had for me. So I always wanted to be a doctor, but I didn't want to take these classes. I didn't want to stay in school and be a lifelong learner. I wanted to actually have a life, have a family, have kids, do all those great things. Not saying you can't do that with medicine. I've seen other people that are doing that as well. But God kept bringing it back to me, like, you need to go to medical school. And that's the call that is on my life. So I was obedient, but it wasn't a quick obedience because I did drag my feet and I did other things, which I'm grateful for, because if I didn't work my first job, if I didn't work at Macy's, if I didn't have the customer service experience, not only at Macy's, but serving in my local church for being a greeter or an usher, if I didn't have all those experiences, if I didn't have the experiences of being at my, it's like I said, in my church, working, as in the young women's department, being a youth leader, if I didn't have the experience as far as teaching in the school district, or just getting my master's degree, or all of that, if I didn't have those experiences, that I wouldn't have an application. Not one medical school student is the same. We have different backgrounds and different experiences. And I'm going to mention that later about how you shouldn't compare yourself, because some people have more experience than you have. And you can be looking at them like, well, why don't I understand the way that they understand? Because they actually have more experience. They might have done more things. They might be more disciplined. So we'll get to that later. But I used to be the one that will be like, when I get there, what do I need to do? Blah, blah, blah. How can I prepare? But I just wanted to know. And some of it was me trying to control my future to be what I wanted it to be at the time I wanted to be. And I think I had other plans. So you don't need to know everything right away. Honestly, deal with it when you get there. So that's for those who are students that are preparing to go to medical school. You deal with that when you get there. You just do what is on your level right now. So for me, I remember when I was so adamant about getting here, and now I'm here, and it's like, why? I can tell you now, I don't like sciences at all. Like, I tried to rush the prereqs so much because I just wanted to get to school, to medical school. And newsflash, those same classes that you're taking now, if you're in prereqs, or those same classes that I took back then, because I didn't know. I was uneducated in that right, because I did not research and look up everything that I needed to do or what type of student I needed to be in medical school. So I didn't know that the same classes that I was taking in undergrad will be the same classes on steroids while I'm in medical school. So they make you take all those courses basically to lessen the amount of information that you need to learn when you get here. So it's actually beneficial to take those classes, but it is good to take or to have a degree in something else, because you need a good GPA. And I noticed for me, having taken classes in undergrad that were sciences, my grades started to go down because I didn't have that foundation, and I was trying to rush. Even then, I was trying to rush through those science courses instead of sitting there and actually learning the material. So I was a dual major at that time too, with athletic training, and I was trying to dual major in biology, when really I should have only been focusing on bio, because you really need a good foundation in your science courses. Like, you really do. You really need a good foundation. So I didn't understand that either. I didn't understand all of this until I got to where I am. Like, that really makes sense. Like, I did need all those courses, and I did need to learn this material. And people weren't playing when they were like, you really need to study and do all of this other stuff and follow this list and learn these classes. I was like, why? Like, I don't need to do all this. But honestly, you do need to just take the prereqs, because some of the classes, you don't need to get a degree in biology just to go to medical school. Your degree can be in something else. I didn't know that either. It's so much stuff that I did not know until later on. And I probably would have been further along, but you know what? I wasn't ready for it. So a lot of stuff that we're trying to get to, we're not ready for yet. And we start to realize later on, like, if I would have had some of the things that I wanted at the time that I wanted, I wouldn't be in medical school. I would probably be back at home in Las Vegas, where it's a no. So the things that I wanted to do at the time that I wanted them, I did not need to have them, because I would have probably wrecked my whole destiny. And I wouldn't be where I am today, and I would have forfeited my future, because I didn't understand the reasoning why, or the purpose of going to medical school and being in this field. And not only that, I wasn't as mature. And I actually learned how to deal with people and what people to avoid, because when God is bringing you into something and you have a future, or whatever the case is, in Christ, He reveals certain things to where it's certain people you can't bring to certain levels. So you can't have everybody on this level. And if it would have been me back then, I would have actually had people that could have messed up my own future for me, because I would have had the wrong people around me. So there's a certain level of maturity. That's why, like, you can go to school, but there needs to be a certain level of maturity on every level. And I don't even know why I'm talking about that. But yes, there needs to be a certain level of maturity when you are pursuing certain things or doing certain things, which we should know. It's just what it is. So I just wanted to get to school. And I realized when I got here, I said, oh, so I'm taking the same classes that are that were the prereqs in medical school. Okay, so we still doing the same thing. Interesting. So I really need to know this, because all those classes actually come right back up and you'll be taking them again. So it's best to learn them now and not rush through it. What I want to get into is when you're choosing medicine, please know what you're getting into. And I understand it seems like it's glamorized. Not for me. It wasn't. When I got here, now I realized how glamorized it was not. And everything is a process. But I'm not saying don't. That's why I said in the beginning, disclaimer, that I'm not saying this for you not to choose medicine, not to do whatever you are planning to do. Everything is a process, and you won't know everything right away, and that is with anything new. But what I can say is going to medical school was a major adjustment for me. And I'm going to talk about later on about how you can be full of anxiety, depressed, and all type of stuff while being in medical school, which I haven't really heard of certain people like talking about, but they probably have. I just never looked it up. All right, so some things you should know before preparing for medical school. Number one, for me, I wouldn't say I'm a religious person. I'm a believer of Jesus Christ because religion divides. But I'm a believer of Jesus Christ. So you need a prayer life or whatever you believe in, but it's Jesus for me all day, okay? Honestly, prayer helped me to manage and keep my sanity, and having other prayer warriors on speed dial when stuff was getting shaky. Because medical school is not for the weak. It really is not. Because you are studying all day long. Like, this is now your new normal. Okay, this is what you do. If it wasn't for God, I would not be where I am now. He called me to this. I can't forget him. So let me tell you, if I try to forget him, I'm going to feel him nudging me to get back to where I need to be at. Or he might put a circumstance in the way. And it's like, I'm not praying like I should. I'm not waking up in the morning acknowledging him. Or I'm not going throughout my day realizing that I wouldn't be here either way if God didn't put me here. So even me getting to medical school was a miracle. So I need to, in order for me to stay connected, I attend online Bible studies. I attend sermons on Sundays. So that's just what I do. And some preachers I listen to are like Darius Daniels, T.D. Jakes. That's what keeps me going. At the end of the day, my career will be a doctor. But first and foremost, I'm a child of God. And if that ceased to exist, I have Christ. So that's not my only identity, because some of us, we get mixed up in what we do and not who we are. And then at the end of the day, when that's not there, it's like, well, who am I? You're a child of God. For one, you are, you're called. You might be called to teach in certain areas or whatever the case is. At the end of the day, that's where I go back to. And that is my source of inspiration. Number two, you need faith in God and confidence in yourself to know you can do this. You got this. You can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. Number three, being in medical school, it's based on performance. Performing well in your exams, performing well in general. And me and my friend, we always joked about this. We'd be like, girl, why we choose this career? Who told us to do this? Because it's based on grades. Like, I wake up every day to study, but it's mainly like a job. So if I wasn't studying, I would be on a job, right? About 7 to 2 or 9 to 5. I would be somewhere on somebody's job if I wasn't studying. So I'm grateful in that, right, that I can study and I can do my own thing and not be on a job under these hours. I can just live how I want to live. That's the benefit. But at the end of the day, it's based on grades. Now, the first semester for me, it was a learning curve when I started my first semester of medical school. Whew. When I say you don't know what works for you right away, because you actually have to be in it to know how to adjust. So when you are preparing for medical school, don't get all caught up, because I know a lot of people will be like, what do I need to do and how do I prepare for medical school? You can get a schedule together. Great. Look at your schedule, but do nothing. Because you won't know what you need to do until you get here. Then that's when you adjust. You don't need to worry about stuff that you're not at yet. And I remember when I had first got here, I started, I was watching T.D. Jakes. And it was so on point, because when you get here, it's a learning curve. It's a major adjustment to your life. This is your new life, and you need to know that it's not going to be everything that you see online. It's not just all glamorized. Behind this takes work. Okay, you got to maintain this. You're just not going to get here and be like, I'm just at school and not studying. Okay, you're going to fill out real quick. So behind this, it takes You have to maintain what's here. Because if I was watching, what was it, Transformation Church, and he was talking about the backside to the blessing, because it really is a backside. Like, people don't understand that you can have a blessing and God can put you in a certain place in your favorite career, but at the end of the day, I still have to maintain what I'm doing. Like, I can't just be in school and not doing what is required of me to be on this level. Okay, I don't know why I went there, but let's get back to TD Jakes when I got here, and how his message was so on point. It's called The Lion's Lair. And he was saying about how everything you're going through, when you're in a new place with new opportunities and new people, you have to learn how to be on that level. So give yourself some grace when you start your first semester, because you don't know everything. And you don't know how to even be in that environment. You have to learn how to be a medical student, just like anything. If I'm an employee, I got to learn how to be an employee on this job. If I am working, if I am on anything that you do, if I am out in the working in the field somewhere, I got to learn on everything that I'm doing. If I'm working in a hospital, I got to learn the system in the hospital. If I'm working at McDonald's or wherever, if I'm working on my business, I got to learn how to be on this level and do what it takes to succeed on this level. You will not know right away, because if that was the case, you would already be there. So you're there, just know that you're learning. You're there to learn what you don't know so that you can get to the level that you need to be on. So don't pressure yourself and be all over the place about, well, I need to do this and oh my gosh, because it's a learning curve. You won't know everything. You don't know everything right away. That's just what it is. You don't know everything. So I want you to relax and know that you don't know everything, and it's a learning curve. Once again. Okay, so number 4, it's based on your mental capacity to be able to take in all the information, and how you can develop strategies to organize in a way that you learn. So you need to organize yourself so that you can study everything at whatever way you organize. At the end of the day, you are a doctor and you really have to know these things. So being in medical school, this experience is where you do need people. You cannot just be in medical school and think that you don't need anybody. God humbled me real quick. Like, no, you can't do this alone, because you need to have social skills. You need to be able to. How can you be a doctor and you have no social skills? Like, you have to work as a team, because when you're a physician, you work with other people that are in the medical field, and you have to relay information to different people. So how can you not work with the team? Your team, you need them. I have learned to be humble this stage, because you can't act like you don't need them. You can't exclude yourself. You have to work with them, because at some point they're going to say something. If you're working in a group setting, they might say something that will cause you to be like, I remember we just talked about that. And it could be on an exam, and it will come back to your remembrance, because you're like, I was just working with people, or I was just studying with them. So that's something that that's the reason why you need other people. You may not know why you need them, so don't discount people, but we need everybody, honestly, because some people are strong in certain areas and that you may not be strong in. Okay. And another thing I want to say is I'm starting to understand why you have to remain a student, because you don't know everything. Like, you really don't. Even when you thought you knew, and you like, the Lord, some information has just been added to me, and I thought I knew everything, but I don't. So just stay a student, at all times. Remain as a student. Remain always wanting to learn. Number 5, it can be overwhelming. When I say overwhelming, for real overwhelming, because it's so much information at one time. You have so many PowerPoints from every classes. In my first semester, I had, 4 classes? And every class had about 100 PowerPoints. So just to think, I'm like, okay, so I'm at school 8 to 6. And by the time I get home, I want to go to sleep. Okay, I want to take a shower, eat something. And now it's like 8. Oh, I might talk to somebody for 2 seconds. Okay. So my whole day is gone. So I found myself full of anxiety, which is like a sister to depression. So with all the things happening this semester, and you're adjusting to a new life, that can be overwhelming. And you don't know how to maneuver, because it's just, you're like in a shock. You're trying to figure out, like, well, how do I do this? I was so stuck on the fact that I have to get an A. And God is like, no, my dear, purpose does not require perfection. If I got you here, trust I will keep you here. But you have to do your part. Don't think you're just going to get here and not do anything. But you have to learn how to do your part. So that's the thing. It's overwhelming, yes, but you have to learn how to do your part. But at the same time, you don't have to be perfect. You can't put all the like, some of us as who grew up in the church, we think that God gonna do everything for us for some apparent reason. Like he's just gonna do everything, and he's not. He's not, because you have a responsibility. He can open the door for you. He can make things happen for you. But at the end of the day, it is your responsibility to do your part. So you have to do for yourself first. If you don't study, be sure to know you're going to fail. It's not going to be like, Lord, I just thank you and you're going to bring it back to my remembrance, because God's not going to bring anything back to your remembrance. He's going to be like, you didn't put it in for me to bring it back. So you can depend on Jesus, but that comes into place after you've done all you can on your end. All right, number 5. That leads to my next point. Basically is what I just said, but purpose does require perfection. But at the end of the day, those same people you see acing exams, that doesn't mean that they will be a great physician. And this means like not to compare yourself, basically. So you may see them getting good grades and you're like, oh, everybody got A's and da-da-da. That don't mean fail your classes. That don't mean, get a C on everything. It still means you have to do your part. But an A does not mean I'm going to be the best doctor. It doesn't mean anything. It just means it's a letter grade, and it doesn't define who you are. Because I think that's what some people get caught up in. Like, I need to get A's. I need to do this. But at the end of the day, that doesn't define who I am. So if I don't get this A and I might get a B or I might get a C, that doesn't mean that I'm a bad doctor or a bad person. And it doesn't mean I'm going to be a bad physician. I might be the best. Well, I know I'm going to be the best. But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to perform well later on, because some people don't have social skills. Some people don't even know how to talk. Some people, it's just, you can't compare yourself to other people. So God is the one that will open the door for you. Whatever opportunity, the school, the jobs, the recommendation, you can have the best application and still not get in, because guess what? At the end of the day, God is the one that opens the doors, which reminds me of, he will open doors no man can shut, and shut doors no man can open, because at the end of the day, God has to get you in. These people, I can go to school and still not get where I need to, because at the end of the day, God has to get me to where I need to be. All right, number 6. It is not always fun, but hey, you signed up for this. You really have to study all the time. Like, that is you. That's what you do. Welcome. Hey, welcome to the party. So it's a major adjustment, especially for those coming from not having a job, or coming, not saying not having a job, coming from working a job to doing whatever you want with your time. And then all of a sudden you're like, yeah, I made it to medical school. And it's like, oh, but I never had to be on this level. So I still had a life. Interesting. But mind you, we were in a pandemic too. So that kind of shifted everybody as well. So yes, you just know this is not always fun. You have to study all the time. Another thing with it not being as fun as what you thought it was, I had false expectations when I came in. I thought I was going to be living my best life, but not the case. For one, I live on an island, and you would think, well, you live on an island, aren't you having fun? My answer, no. What I was accustomed to back home, was the stress reliever for me was I can go to the mall, I can go to the store, I can go visit my family, I can spend time with my mom, like I can go to church, I can drive where I want to drive. Here, you can't go to Target, there's no Walmart. I mean, you could possibly, I don't know where they really shop at, because I haven't really went out to shop. I had brought all my stuff with me. But that's not here. And if you want to have a car, you're going to be paying $500 a month. And if I'm going to do that, then I need to get a new car. But yeah, you're paying $500 a month to rent a car. So I'm limited on where I can go. I can only go to school and catch the school bus and come right back to where I am. Or I can walk around where I'm at, and there's not really much to do after you've done all of that. So yeah, I have that on that part. So when you have false expectations, or not when you have false expectations, when you create your own expectations that lead to false expectations, because now you're disappointed because God never promised you that it would be fun. He never promised you that it would be a certain way. So now you're disappointed in the choice that you made. God just gave me the command to go to school. So once I got here, I was mad like every day. Okay, I was mad every day because I was wondering like, why did I sign up for this? Why am I in medical school? This is not what I thought it was going to be. And God's like, well, if I told you all that came with it, you probably would have never stepped out and did none of this. So you're here for a reason. So he waits until you're completely committed and you're already too far in the game. And it's like, dang, I can't turn back now. So just know, it's not always fun. You sign up to be a doctor and you have to study. Number 7, don't compare yourself to others, because you shouldn't be concerned about what other people are doing. And I know there's like this thing to where everyone is like trying to get an A, trying to be the best, trying to do this in grades only. And it's like, at the end of the day, I'm still a human and I like to have a life, and but that doesn't mean disregard your studies. But as well, when other people might be doing better than you in some semesters, because it's going to be a time where you might not have it all together. So just know, you don't need to compare yourself to anybody else, because you don't know what may happen in their life. They might not even make it to residency. They might quit. They might be doing you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. They may be taking medication just to be a student. You don't know what these people have going on behind the scenes. So just focus on where you're going. You run your own race. It don't matter what they do. You do what you need to do to be the best that you can be, where you're at and what you're doing. It doesn't matter. They can do all they need to do. They can be whatever they need to be. You just focus on you, because at the end of the day, it's you that needs to get through medical school. You can look at them and be off track. I forgot what church I was watching, but he was talking about how you can be looking another way because you're so focused on what somebody else is doing, that when what is happening on your end, you are failing at what you have going on, because you're too busy like, well, they're doing this and they're doing that. Okay, well, what works for you? What are you doing for you? What are you doing to make sure that you get things done the way that they need to be done? All right, so yeah, that's that point. Number 9, you need to find your group of friends and stick with them. And honestly, just know that people can change in different seasons. So don't be too pressed about, this person, or they're not with me, or whatever the case is. God will send who you need. That's it. And even with that, about finding your own friends or whatever, just know God will send who you need. Number 10, it takes organization. You can be involved in anything that you want to do. You can be in 500 organizations if you want to, if you have the capacity to do so. Just know you do not need to be involved in everything. Your main goal is to be a doctor. Your main goal is to be a student. You don't have to be a part of every organization that there is to show on your application, like I did 800 things. I mean, I'm not there yet to be in residency, but guess what? I know what I'm not doing. I'm not doing that. I just know that I need to get through these classes. At the end of the day, I need to get my long coat, okay? I need to actually graduate. So just be responsible with your time. You can do whatever you want. You just need to make sure that you have a handle on the material and everything that everything that's going on in class before you start doing other things outside of that. And yeah, I just want you to know, I want to conclude with this. If others can do it, you can do it too. You just need a strategy and understand you have the ability to be anything that you want to be. You just have to adjust. You have to know that every semester you have to adjust. Because for me, every 4 months is different. So what worked for me in last season, which is 4 months for me, does not work at this time. I need to find a different strategy. At that point, videos might have worked. You need to find what works for you. Because what works for somebody else, somebody can be using the Anki cards or Kaplan questions, and that might not work for you. You might need videos. So you have to find out what works for you in order to succeed on this level. Just try to adjust in every semester and know that it's going to be all right. You will do well. Don't come in here like, I know that first semester it's a panic. You like, wait a minute now. Okay, I thought I was the student that I thought I was, and now I'm not what I thought I was. So who am I, and can I even learn right anymore because I studied and what I studied is not on this exam? Okay. All right. We need to go back to the drawing board. So I just want you guys to give yourself some grace. It's for you. It's for you. Just know God did not open up this big door, this opportunity. He didn't open it for you to fail. But just know that you have to do your part, and you need to learn on this level. You need to learn how to live on this level. And just know you can do it. I believe in you. And yeah, just be you. Be you, do you, find what works for you, and just know that you can make it. If anybody can make it, you can.